Have you ever wondered why most editors are broke and only a few make it big? I know, because I used to be one of the broke ones. But I figured out a system that took me from $0 to making thousands every month with editing. And now my students are using this same system, very quickly reaching their first 1K, 4K and even 5K months. What you're going to see is the exact repeatable system to find video editing clients who can actually pay, the tools and systems that I use to make better videos faster than most other editors, and how you convince people and even big YouTubers to pay you thousands for your editing month after month. And to make this even better, I've included some exclusive lessons from my paid program Editing Elite, material I normally only share with my students inside. So log in, because what you're about to see is the fastest and most simple path to making good money with video editing. Let's be real, the world right now, it's kind of messy. AI is shaking up the world and traditional jobs are less stable and everything just feels more expensive, right? So the smartest thing you can do right now is not to let someone else decide your fate, but instead do something that's way more in your control. Which is why you did such a good thing for yourself by clicking on this video. You are taking a serious step towards achieving more for yourself, using your own skills. And now the biggest barrier to success is not something or someone else. It's simply yourself. So let me show you how to break those barriers and become a full-time editor, earning a good and consistent income, almost effortlessly. Now, I'll be doing this by showing you these 3 stages that I and basically everyone else had to complete in order to reach this up here and become a full-time video editor. And one funny thing is that this is not like a video game where it gets harder and harder as you go up the income stages. It's actually the opposite, which is why so many people are stuck down here at stage 1. And by the way, if you beat this stage 3 right here, you become basically unstoppable, and I'll show you why in a little bit. So let's start with stage 1. So stage 1, have you ever sent a message to someone and you want to edit for, and then you just got nothing back? Not even a no thanks, or not even a thanks for trying, just nothing. Well, maybe you've also tried posting your edits online and hoping someone notices, but all you get is a few likes. That's because you're in the hardest part of the game. You're invisible. And stage 1 is all about becoming visible and being just a little bit trusted, because then we can get our first client. But how do we do that in a world where everyone is trying to do the same? Well, imagine you're looking through hundreds of applications for a job. You see some really nice resumes with a great layout and job experience, but you kind of forget about each of them because they are all similar. They are all like that. Then you see that one of the applications is a literal brick, and on it says, let's build together. Here's the first brick. And then a link to an online resume on the back. How likely are you to remember that? So you can see, by simply being different and a little creative, you are 1000% more likely to get noticed. And today, just sending lazy DMs or even sending like, here's a free trial video, that won't do it. Because you will simply look like everyone else, just like the applications. But imagine if you send a personalized video with your face in it, going over what you can do to a video, or maybe a document filled with improvements that you can make to a video with like examples that you actually make, or simply instead of sending a free trial video, you say, hey, I noticed your last video had a 40-second intro before it got to the point. I caught a quick version that gets to there in 12 seconds and it works 100% better. Want to see it? You see, that's way more likely to respond to that than just sending a DM like, oh, I'm a video editor, I can help, watch my portfolio. That's so boring. All right, let's continue to stage 2. This is where things get interesting. This is basically what determines if you're going to make it or you're going to give up. So you get to this stage once you've got your first 2 to 3 clients. And don't worry, they don't have to be really amazing or well-paying clients yet. That's what we're getting to. Now, hold on, why don't they have to be well-paying at this stage? Well, that's because the goal of this stage isn't to earn a lot of money. It's about getting something else. At this stage, it might feel like you're editing non-stop and you're not getting the proper pay for it. Like maybe you're getting half of what you actually want. And then you think to yourself like, am I charging too little? Or what if I lose this client? Or will I ever make real income from this? And that's completely normal at this stage. And that's why it's so important that you remind yourself of this as you get through it. Right now, you're not just building income, you're building proof. You're getting client testimonials, you're getting video results like sales, views, retention. So remember to ask for these as well, like the results, and screenshot them. And if you do a really, really good job, you might even get referrals, which is as close as you get to actual free clients. And you can use all of these to get new and even better clients, because when people say they're looking for people with experience, you just slap them right in the face with this. And remember to put it in your portfolio as well and in your outreach too. Don't hold back on this. But do you know why so many editors give up on this stage right before it gets good? Well, they think they aren't earning enough. So this must be the wrong path, they tell themselves. What they don't know is that there's something quite awesome waiting for them on the other side. Let me show you. Stage 3. Here's the truth, and this is kind of sad. Most editors never get to this stage. And this is why. This box represents how much you're capable of handling. Of course, it can be bigger or smaller depending on how much time and energy you have each day. But it doesn't really matter actually, because here in stage 1, your goal is just to fill up this box with a few clients. Once you've done that, you go to stage 2, where you get results from working with these clients, like I just mentioned. And also here, people find it hard, because it requires you to show up and put in the work, and the keyword here, stay consistent, regardless of how you feel about like these current clients you have. I'm not talking about you like working all day, all night. Just a few hours each day can actually make this possible. That's all that's really required. The people who actually stuck with this, like through stage 1 and stage 2, and now about to get to stage 3, things are about to get awesome. Because now, with these results that we have, we can attract better clients in our outreach, in our portfolio, in our meetings, in our personal brands, whatever. And once we get these better clients in stage 3, we can choose to now kick out or replace a previous client we didn't really like, or maybe didn't have enough pay, or we can choose to just raise the pay for overall, and the people who doesn't want to, pay the higher rate, we can just say, okay, I have another client I can replace it with instead. And the thing is, once you get a better client, you usually also get better results. And guess what? You can use those results. Again, you can just put that in your personal brand or portfolio or meeting or whatever. And now you can get even better clients. So it's just this wheel that goes around and round and round, and it becomes really easy actually to get like clients, because you become actually very attracted. Eventually you're going to get such demand that you can choose what kind of client you want to work with or not. And you control your own time and your own income and your future as a full-time video editor. You've kind of made it here. And in a world where everything is uncertain, this is power. You have control now. I didn't realize you don't need clients for proof. A lot of editors take way too long to make their first portfolio. I did too. And it was a mistake. I thought I needed to previous work before making a portfolio that would look impressive, right? Working with big clients, having lots of views and impressive results. That's what you need for a portfolio, right? But here's the truth. You can make a portfolio the first day you decide to go all in on video editing, even if you've never worked with any clients before. How, you may ask? Well, there are 2 tricks that you can take advantage of here. So the first thing you can do is, if you've been interested in video editing, chances are you've already have some videos edited, like lying around, maybe like hobby, or maybe just some practice edits you've made. And all these edits, there's nothing stopping you from making a few sample edits and then putting these in to your portfolio. And that's exactly what one of my students, he did just last week here. As you can see, Brad, he had a few trial edits for potential clients, and last week he simply used like my template to make this like super quick, slick portfolio you see right here in like less than 20 minutes. And this is way better than the editors who delay endlessly having a portfolio at all. Just jump into it. Now the next thing, and there's another thing you can do here that really makes your portfolio stand out amongst everyone else, and still without having worked with any clients before, and that's to simply have a personal introduction of yourself, like a personal introduction video, like you can see here. You simply introduce yourself and you show a bit of your editing and personality, and that doesn't require you to have previous clients, that just requires you to do it. Now, you can see here, like, if you just have a basic editor who's like, this is me, I edit content, hit me up, right? Versus some guy who both has like a profile and a portfolio with where they introduce themselves, they become way more powerful and way more personalized. Like, people want to work with people. So if they know like you as a person, you're way more likely to get chosen as a video editor with. So don't let your thoughts stop you from creating an amazing portfolio from the start like I once did. If you want to achieve your goal this year, you need to understand this. What was the first thing you did today? Was it checking your phone? Was it snoozing your alarm way too many times? Was it waking up tired and just watching some TV because you didn't know what else to do? Well, the most important decision you make every day is the first one of the day. This shows you why. Let's say we start a day with a good choice. Well, this goes up way further than anything else here on the visual, and you can see it goes toward the good day. But then let's say we make a bad choice here. Well, it goes a bit down, but not as much as this one. And then the rest of the day we just make good choices. And then we're gonna end, oh, it's a pretty good day, you know? But imagine if the first choice of the day was a bad choice. Like, let's say we started like watching our phone and like infinite scroll on I don't know, YouTube or TikTok. Well, you can see that now it's only going to be a bad day. And that's because the first choice is so important in both like guiding what choices you make later in the day, and also you're going to notice that you are going to be way more productive if your first choice is a good choice. But what exactly is a good choice or good decision? Well, it's simply what brings you closer to the goal. So in the beginning, when I woke up, the first thing I did was either like outreach or editing a video if that was important at the time, or finding new leads, or just learning new stuff like going through courses or guides and such. So if you can do that, you'll unlock insane focus. Now the next thing is you have to make it easy to do the right thing first. So imagine if when you woke up, the entire bottom half is removed, and the only option you have for the day is to get a good day. So how do you do that? Here's how I do it. Firstly, I use a software called Freedom, which is a software that blocks distractions on both your PC and your smartphone, and it can block stuff like Reddit, Twitter, X, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. And it basically prevents me from going into those like applications in a specific time zone that I've set. And this goes hand in hand in you should remove infinity pools. And infinity pools are those sites like TikTok and Twitter and such, where you can just infinitely scroll and there's just infinitely amount of content. And a really good example of that is like YouTube recommendations. You know like the rabbit hole where you go down like a bunch of recommendations. Well, that's an infinity pool. And you have to remove those because you have no idea how much time it's taking from your life. It's actually really scary. And the way you can remove these infinity pools is I use something called Undistracted, which is a Chrome extension, which basically just makes these infinity pools not exist. So if I go into YouTube, I can't see like on the homepage any videos. I have to specifically find the videos. Next, you should delete all apps from your phone. And this might sound harsh, but if they are actually important, you can just use your PC. Like 99% of apps already have an app on your computer. The only thing I use my phone for is messaging other people or listening to podcasts or checking the weather. If you really have to check or like post something on like Instagram, you can just either download the app again or just use it on your computer. Don't have it as like an easy distraction on you at all times. Which is why I also recommend you put your phone away while working, which you probably already know. And if you have a hard time with this, you should just lock it away in another room. Like, don't make it easy for you. Lastly, I also use something called the Alarmy app. And it's basically, I've set it to like, if I snooze too much with the app, like if I don't wake up, they charge me money. I've never missed an alarm since I've done that. But for all of this to actually work, there's one thing you need in order for you to succeed. And I'm going to go over that now in level 3. All right, so why do you do any actions? Think about this. Why do you sometimes want to hang out with friends? Why do you sometimes want to work out? Why do you sometimes want to play video games? And why do you sometimes not want to do those things? Well, it's very likely because of motivation. So, like, let's say you have a thought like, oh, I want to appear more fit. Well, then you have the motivation to work out, and then you take the action where you go down in the gym and you lift weights. It can also be, oh, I want to earn more money or live a more free life. Well, then you have the motivation to start becoming a video editing freelancer, earning money through that. And this is how most people's actions are taken in life. But there is a problem with this, because motivation is a feeling, and feelings come and go all the time. This is why after New Year's, everyone in the first week wants to work out because they have this quote-unquote motivation. But then in week 2, where they don't have the motivation anymore, well, now they don't perform the action. Like, they think, oh, I gotta work out, but they don't perform the action of going to the gym because they've lacked the motivation, which is a feeling that comes and goes. You can't really control motivation. How can we do so that every time you think, okay, I want to become a successful freelance video editor, you actually take action towards it? Well, we use discipline. And this is the key to everything. And some of you might be thinking, oh, but I don't have any discipline. I'm very bad at that and such. But here's the good news. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
So even if you feel you lack it right now, I promise you, if you work on it, you could become an amazing person. And here's how you strengthen your discipline every day. So first thing, you resist impulses. And you do this with even small, non-important impulses. Like let's say, oh yeah, I want a quick snack right now. Because if you train yourself on doing the small impulses, the bigger impulses like, oh, I just want to stay in bed watching TikTok, it's going to become way easier to resist. The next one is you challenge yourself to exit your comfort zone as often as possible. If something feels slightly uncomfortable for you to do, then I would say go ahead and do it. Like you owe yourself to do it because you're going to strengthen your discipline so much. And also, this is how you actually grow. Then I want you to accomplish one task every day, no matter what. Just write down on the paper, tomorrow I'm going to do this. And it can be very, very simple. And your goal is just to say, okay, I'm going to do the task no matter what. I have a ton of other stuff I want to do as well, but if I do that task, today is successful. Now, if you do something and it's boring and you don't want to keep going, I want you to sometimes imagine yourself in third person, kind of like, a video game. And this helps you to keep going because you realize you are not your thoughts. And this is one thing I want to hammer down. You are not your thoughts. If you think, oh, I can't do this, or this is too hard for me, that's a thought, but that doesn't mean you have to act on that. Like, let's say you feel really hungry. You can say, okay, I feel really hungry. That doesn't mean I have to eat. It's just a thought I have. The next thing you can do is that you should do the same thing every morning. And it's okay if it's slightly uncomfortable. Like you go immediately into doing editing work. You go to the gym, like you take a cold shower, because that's going to set the standard of the day and like your life in general. Also, if you challenge yourself publicly, like you use the editing elite community to state like this is my goals and this is what I'm going to do tomorrow, you are going to be way more likely to strengthen your discipline because now you've actually set out a commitment publicly. And this is going to make yourself accountable. And that's super important because let's say you find an accountability partner in Editing Elite. Now, every time you set yourself to do something, you feel the urge to always do it because you don't want to like disappoint like your accountability partner and yourself. This has been so powerful for me. Now, not all days will be perfect. You need to keep this in mind. But the important part is that you keep going because you'll be surprised at where you end up if you just get 1% better every day.
2 years ago, when I decided to take video editing seriously, I spent days, weeks, and months researching and watching tutorials on how to make the best videos to go full-time with video editing. But today, I wouldn't do it like that. Because I've discovered another method that is way faster for editors to make progress. And this method is something that has helped my students inside my program get results like these while still leveling up their editing skills faster than anything I've seen. It's why they were so able to get these results so fast. So what is it? Like, what are we doing? Well, this might sound a bit controversial at first, so hear me out. Let's say you have two people playing Overwatch. One guy is practicing his skill in the practice range, while the other player just jumps straight into it, like playing matches and learning as he goes. Who do you think will become a better player after a month of only doing that thing? Well, it's pretty clear, right? It's this guy on the right. It's guy 2. Now, a lot of people ask me, how do I improve my editing to get clients? And my answer is always, don't constantly watch editing tutorials. A lot of editors learn all these fancy tutorials that take hours to get some like new effect or style that you might never use again. And to me, this is like jumping into the practice range in Overwatch. Imagine how effective you will be if you just focus on exactly what the client you're going for actually wants from your editing. And if you learn this through real experience and what the actual clients, what they request that they want. Now, you might very well be thinking, what if I got very few or 0 clients right now? Like, how am I supposed to learn from real experience then? Because I've got 2 simple solutions for you. And they're better than just like the practice range. So this first solution can save you a lot of time and effort. And it's simply changing the order you do things. Let me explain. So instead of spending a lot of time learning different editing styles and then trying to find a client who wants that kind of editing, what if you instead figured out what kind of client that you want to edit for, and then you look up exactly the guys you need to impress them. And when you do this, instead of just copy pasting exactly what it says in the tutorial, use what you find to make specific edits that create your own unique video instead. So don't copy their homework, because when you do it this way, you practice the edits will end up becoming these very specific videos that also works as your trial edits, because now they're like unique, now they're your own.
And you can see how this not only makes you a better editor, but it also potentially gets you clients faster as well, because now you can also use these, like post them on social or send them to the client, like the client that you want to like impress. So yeah, you'll quickly get far ahead of most editors. Now, this second solution is what my students have especially used and is part of why they've been improving so fast. It's actually secretly how you improve at anything in life, and it's quite simple. First, you do something. It's pretty simple, right? In our case, it will be like doing editing. Now, the trap here that so many editors fall into is that they stop right here. But you need to go further. You need to put it out in the world. And some people actually do this still, and then they get feedback, right? But there's still a problem here, because 90% of editors make another mistake right here. And that's they get lazy Twitter compliments, I call them. Like, you post it on Twitter and then you get like, oh, sick edit, bro. Like, that's the only thing you get, like, oh, super nice, like, right? And it feels really good. Like, it feels nice, but you don't get better from it. So here's what we do. We say, hey, we have found this channel we want to edit for. We post it in our community and we get asked for actual feedback. And look at what we do. We give actual feedback. Like, we still give compliments when things are good, but we improve by giving like timestamps and specific things that you can do. And you can see we do it so many times here. And like, the more concrete you can be, the better. And we don't hold back with giving each other advice. Like, this is like the keystone of this thing that we're doing. So you can see here why the reason why we're doing it is because when we give actual real feedback, you grow so fast. Like, people don't get how fast it's going, especially if you compare to people who just like make a tutorial and then never do anything about it again.
Over the past year, I've made a lot of money with video editing, and one of the things I can thank for that are these 6 amazing tools that you can use as well. Let's get into it. The first tool. Imagine if you never had to open up your folders again, yet you could still access anything you've ever saved on your PC at any time, even faster than before. This is the magic of the first tool called Listery, and I tell you, it has been a game changer for me. So, take a look at this video where I used the tool. I wanted to add an animation of a rocket I have saved on my PC, so I just double tap the control button, I search rocket animation in the toolbar, and I just dragged it into the timeline and it was already there. I then wanted to add a whoosh sound effect, so I double tapped the control button again, I searched whoosh, and whoopty, I added the sound effect. It was so simple and so fast. And all you have to do is name your file when you save them, and you'll never need to sort like your files again. And the best part, it's free. There's a link below. So with the second tool, I have a confession to make. I have tried so many of those AI tools that cut up videos, add zooms or b-rolls for you and all that, but to be honest, I don't like them. At least not right now. Because they either make the videos look worse or secretly take you longer to edit them than if you just did it normally. I think we have to wait a few years before that's actually good. But there is a tool that I quite like that's AI. And it isn't even directly about video editing. Video editors' worst nightmare is finding the right music. It's really great when you finally find one, but it can take a lot of time. So, I found this AI program called Suno, and it's a music generator that allows you to generate any kind of music simply based on a prompt you give it. Kind of like ChatGPT, but with music. But I'm not sponsored. None of these are sponsored. It's just what I've used. Okay, so for example, if you enter a prompt like this, and you turn on instrumental up here, this button, you can get 2 tracks for your videos that are copyright free and exclusive for your videos. They've never been used anywhere before. It won't always be perfect, but you can always generate more or ask for something else, and the more you use it, the better you get at it. Now, there is a free version, so you can get this for free, but the paid version allows for higher quality music, so if you like the free, I recommend you upgrade it. It's not that pricey. Alright, the third tool. This will shock you how simple it is, because not only does it save me time, but it also makes me more creative. So let me show you how and why I'm in love with it. As you can see, for a client, I made this animation with an email that writes itself, and I could have spent a lot of time trying to animate this with the text coming in and everything, but instead I just recorded myself writing an email, and it saved me so much time. So what I recommend here is getting a screen recorder, and there's a ton of them out there, but I use the one called OBS, And here are two other examples of how you can use a screen recorder. So this is an animation that shows the flight path, and the background is literally just a recording of Google Earth where I entered the coordinates. So it took no time to make. And if you wanted something simple, that works. You can also show websites in a cool way, like I did in this highlight reel I made. And the cool part is that it includes the animation and scroll when you enter the site, so you don't have to animate that. You can get so creative, as you can see. Just please use it. Please use a screen recorder. Now, before I show you the fourth tool, I've got to let you know I just launched a place where you can get my best editing advice and a few more secret tools I use. You can sign up below and it's completely free. Go ahead. Now, the next tool, imagine if someone asks you, is doing video editing really worth it? You would of course say, heck yeah, but how do we know what you're doing is worth more than a guy flipping burgers over at McDonald's? The answer is to simply track your time. And you need to do this because then you can see how much you earn per hour and you can compare to the McDonald's guy. You can see if you're improving your editing speed or not. And it's satisfying to know how much time you spent on each video and how much you earn. So the software I use is Clockify and it's free. Again, link in the description. Okay. Fifth tool. This tool you use if you want to impress the clients you send your videos to. And it makes it super easy for you to get client feedback. It makes it super easy to you to do revisions. And it doesn't take up Google Drive space whenever you have to send the video. So the software I use is called Frame.io. And many people don't know this, but it's actually included in your Adobe Creative Cloud subscription. So if you have that, it's completely free for you. Now, Frame.io allows you to upload your videos and then the client can comment on specific moments in the video while they watch the video. And it allows you to super easily jump to these moments to make revisions, and you can even add comments back and forth if you have something to say about the revision. So again, it also makes you seem super professional. All right, the last tool, the sixth tool. Have you ever gotten a bit bored while editing but you really wanted to finish the video? Sometimes all you need to do is to get into a flow and suddenly it feels easy to finish this video. So one way of getting into this flow is just to listen to like lo-fi music. And I use Spotify for that, but you can just use any platform if you want. If you listen to music while editing, there are some rules you need to follow or it's gonna just ruin your focus. So first off, the music should not contain any lyrics. The music should always be lower than what you're editing so you can focus on your editing, because that's most important. And again, lo-fi is by far the best to listen to, but any chill music works. Imagine spending hours and hours on editing a video, and then you get paid like $30 for it. Well, one of my students was stuck in that exact trap when he first met me, but now he's gotten paid $600 to edit a single 8-minute video, and the client liked it so much that he wanted even more videos from my student. What did he do differently? Well, I showed him a different kind of video, a video that got him a way better client. And you're about to see exactly what those videos are, what kind of clients that desperately want these videos, and why they're so freaking powerful. Let's go. Alright, so most editors completely miss out on this opportunity without them even knowing. Here's why. So editing videos for YouTubers seems perfect, right? You always get consistent content to edit. You can easily get results to show off from your videos that you're making, and you create a relationship with a YouTuber and you get to work together long term, which is super awesome. And also, they're everywhere right now. There's always YouTubers looking for editors. Now, you might be expecting that, oh, this video is just about me telling that you should go find other clients than YouTubers to edit for, like businesses or something. You can't do that, but this video is about editing for YouTubers because they are so powerful and they're like my favorite clients. But it might not be the YouTubers you think it is. And this is the key thing, because you need to know that if you don't do this, you will very likely end up stuck somewhere where you are either underpaid or overworked or unable to find someone to work for. And you'll just be blaming yourself for it, which is so unfortunate, because that's not the truth. Let me show you who to edit for that actually pays you for what you're worth and to actually be respected. All right. Is it small YouTubers? Small YouTubers that are just starting out? Well, these are desperate for growth and they're willing to post a lot for something to take off. But they might promise you lots of project and pay raises, which might seem great, right? Like, that's awesome. But the truth is, they're broke. And you probably know that, right? They want like hours of insane editing for like $20 or $30. And this is not going to change anytime soon because it usually takes years for a channel to take off. And also the sad part is that most of these YouTubers are actually going to give up before then. So 99% of the time, you're honestly just going to waste your time with these clients. All right, but what about the opposite? What about big YouTubers? Well, yeah, they've got huge audiences with millions of subscribers and thousands of views, so they seem way more consistent and like you could get actual results here, right? Well, I've edited for these channels at this size, and if you get to have a direct connection with these people running the channel, this client can be amazing. Like some of the best clients you can get. But, and there's a big but here, doing this, like trying to get these clients, is like trying to do the final boss in a video game on day one, like the first hour or like level 1. If you want to work with these clients, you need connections. Like you can't just write to them and expect a yes for them. You also need to be really good at your work, and they're usually looking for like people with years of experience or like people who know what they're doing. And you also need like a good amount of luck. Like there's no going around it. But now if you can get your hands on one, like if through a connection or maybe you're very lucky, then sure, amazing, go for it. Like don't hold yourself back. But if you're looking for like a more consistent and easy and like faster way to make money with video editing, especially if you're like starting from like a beginner, well, there's something else you should be going for. And that's what this video is about. Now you're probably thinking, if it's not big YouTubers, if it's not small YouTubers, it's gotta be medium YouTubers, right? Well, actually, no. Medium YouTubers, they look stable, like because they get AdSense and they get a decent amount of views and they have sponsors and such. But under the surface, they are usually quite stressed actually. And some of them are close to burnout. And the reason why is because they are highly dependent on the amount of views they get. So every dollar they spend is like a big risk for them. 1 month they can like easily afford you, but like the next they like might need to like say like, oh, we need to cut back or like we need to pause editing for a while. I will say though that in the beginning, these clients can be perfectly fine, like for getting started and like building a portfolio and getting connections. So you should be going for these like at the very beginning. But there's someone much better out there that doesn't give you this problem that I'm talking about. And no editors are really aware of these. At this point, you might think, haven't we seen every kind of YouTuber that you can edit for by now? Well, no. There's actually one type of YouTuber here whose income doesn't collapse if views drop. They don't care about ad revenue or subscribers or sponsors to make money, and they're desperate to find editors like you right now for a specific reason. Let me show you a few examples of these channels. Here's one guy who's simply doing tennis, just making tennis videos showcasing how to do tennis. Here's another guy who's doing drumming videos showcasing how to best play the drums. And here's a lady who's showcasing how to do gardening. And you can see like the views here is like nothing crazy, and the same with the subscribers. But behind the scenes, every single one of them is making serious money. How? Well, simple. They're business YouTubers. They use YouTube to sell a product, like a software or coaching or a service, not just to like entertain, like the YouTubers we saw before. And here's why they value editors so much. Their goal isn't, let's get as many views as possible. No, their goal is, how can this video help someone trust me enough to buy my product? And better editing, well, that gives more clarity, more trust, and that gives more sales. And here's my favorite part about this. These don't need to be a big YouTube channel in order to be successful. At all, actually. One of the business YouTubers I work with had just under 500 subscribers, yet they paid me $300 per video, because the video itself make them sales. But it gets even better, because once you start working with business YouTubers and you can prove that you can deliver, you unlock something even bigger. You unlock VSLs. And if you don't know what that is, it's short for Video Sales Letter. And these are videos specifically made to sell a product. And it's usually like on the sales page itself. And here's why VSLs are where the real money is at. Like a great YouTube video brings in views, right? But a great VSL, that brings in money. And like one good VSL can generate thousands for your client, and even tens of thousands of dollars, like just for like one client. And guess what happens when you're like the editor behind it? Well, that means that you can charge like 3 to 10 times your normal rate in order to make this video really good. And that's what like my student did in order to earn that much for one video. And you can get like performance bonuses as well, and you can even get like a percentage cut off the sales if you're really smart. There are editors right now who like might have started out just like you, but then got this deal, and now they're making money passively because they simply edited like one killer VSL. And they got to do that for the client because like they were already an editor for the YouTube channels. So they got in contact and they just agreed on that. Now for this first method, I want to shout out my student Brad, who got 100 qualifying video editing client leads in just 2 days. Let me show you what he did. Alright, so our goal here is to fill out this entire sheet with a bunch of qualified clients, and the way we're going to do it is quite simple. But first off, this sheet here is for my students, but you can easily just create one yourself. Just open a sheet and start making some rows. And this first method, we're going to use YouTube search. Now, it's not going to be just normal YouTube search because I think that it's going to be a problem and you're going to see it in a bit, but we're going to do something that's going to make it way easier and to find channels that can actually use our help and are able to pay us. So let's, for example, search for a niche here. So SMMA, like marketing agencies. I just searched for SMMA, I think here. Like these. And here's the problem. We get some very, very big channels, right? Like Iman Gatsi or Rene Lecard. I think he has a lot of subscribers as well. Oh, he actually doesn't. That's actually a fine channel. But yeah, like Iman Gatsi, Jordan Platten, Iman Gatsi again. Like some of these channels are way, way, way too high. Charlie Morgan, such. You're not going to be able to reach out to them or make a trial edit and then get to be the editor. Like they will do a proper job post if that was the case. But what we can do instead is we can go into filters up here, and this works a lot of the time, and then you go into channel, and what it's going to do is give you a way bigger variety of channels that you can actually work with. So for example here 5k, that's way more reasonable. 27k, that seems possible, you know. Sometimes it's also going to be very low subscribers, like 80 subscribers. You're not going to get paid or anything like that from that kind of channels, but there's a ton of opportunities here. Just scroll down like this, and these channels are likely, as you can, that's not a channel we found, but like here, like they could use an editor, and they're likely like in need of an editor as well. And if you did a trial edit on Outreach, they would be perfect. So what I would do is just put these in, like the contact info and their name and language and all that stuff, and then you can, you know, outreach them later. Now, what I did and Brad and my students have done is that we have a customized software here. So we just scroll down like this, like a bunch of channels, then we copy them all and we put them inside this software right here, and then we press generate lead file. And what this does is it basically goes through each of these channels and filters them out. You're going to see here in a bit, which makes it way, way faster for us to find these perfect channels to reach out to. All right, so as you can see, it's currently generating the PDF here. It's just almost done here. And then once it's done, we're going to get a, yeah, now it's done. We're going to get a PDF, so it should be here. And what it has done is it's basically, like I said, gone through each of the channel and took like a screenshot of the actual channels with their videos and their titles and the thumbnails and everything you can see here. And this is super smart for us because then I have this here, which is a customized ChatGPT, and we just drag this PDF into it. And what it does for us is now we can just give it the PDF here. Now it should be able to go through it, and it can scan through what kind of channels is actually like useful for us and how many subscribers and average views they have and everything in their contact info, which makes this super, super fast, as you can see here. And also it avoids all like channels with under 1,000 subscribers, so you don't get like all those, you know, trash you don't need. So let's see here. I think I went through a lot of channels, but yeah. So what we're gonna do is just gonna copy it and put it into our document here, and now you can see we just instantly got all these. And this is what I want you to do as well when you find this channel. I want you to like say the language, subscriber, and average views and such, and then you want to adjust them because not all of these channels are going to be perfect. But for example here, this is a high fit channel because like consistent uploads and solid niche, and this is like no recent uploads in 8 months, so of course they're not going to need an editor. No uploads 9 months, but here active uploads, niche appeal but may scale, like consistent emotional driven is May content. So we can check them out here and see if it actually works here. Yeah, for example, this would be a perfect guy to help with editing. As you can see, he doesn't have anything in his video, or maybe a little bit, but that would be perfect. So this was the first method. We're now going to move on to the second method, which you can use if you had a hard time finding channels by using the search, or like you've run out, you've gone through a lot and you can't really find anything. This method is going to be very helpful to you then. All right, so for this second method, we're going to use this website called similartube.co/top, and it's very important you visit that specific link, or else you won't visit this site and it's not going to work. So you're going to go under find similar. And then we just have to find one channel that we like, and then we can easily find more. So for example, let's say we want to find travel vlog. Okay, not Japan, but I mean, that's fine actually. So we're going to get some very big channels here, but like we can just take some of the, oh yeah, and we can just use this thing I showed you before. Solo travel Japan sounds good. Dale, Philip, hidden Japan. Like this is a bunch of stuff here. All right, so okay, this guy is probably very big already. So this guy, solo travel Japan. Yup, that could need some editing. What about this guy, Dale Phillip? Oh yeah, so he might have a ton of subscribers, but I bet a lot of them is from his shorts. So he could easily, would be a very, very good channel to like reach out to and help with editing. So what we're gonna do now is we are going to put this channel into here. We can just use the ad here like that, and then search. And now it's going to not only find like very similar channel in like niche, it's also going to look at like the audience and the views and the tags and everything to make sure like this high quality similar channels. All right, perfect. So now it's here. So we have to scroll a bit down before we see it, but right down here, channels like Dale Phillip. And now we're gonna get a bunch of similar channels that could be very, very good to reach out to. And the cool thing about this is we can just click on, for example, Hungry to Travel, like this channel here. And we can visit their YouTube as well. Right here, you can see if this is good. Yeah, look, this is almost a perfect channel as well. They likely also need an editor with everything they're doing here, and about recent uploads and their travel. Yeah, that's perfect. So now we visited this channel as well, and we can just scroll down, and now we have a bunch of more channel again that's similar. You see, we went into the food vlogging niche. So a quick way I found to get like all of these channels, like if you want their links, is if you go into console right here, and then I have this code here, you can just see here. So this code here, if you write that into it and you press enter, you get all of these links instantly, which now this is for each of these channels that are here, so it's super fast. And what we usually do is we copy it into the lead generator file here, but you can also just use it yourself and put it into like your own lead tracker, right? So again, and you can just keep going down this rabbit hole here. So if you want to find a chasing plate by these guys, now we go find 10 more channels. I highly recommend you do this. All right, so far we've found a bunch of channels that could need an editor. Now we're going to find channels that for sure need an editor. Let's move on to method 3. Now, before I show it, I just want to say thank you to all the people who suggested this video. If you have any more ideas or something you want to cover in the future, just write down in comments. And in the future, there's going to be even more ways I can show you of getting clients. So stay tuned for that. All right, so for this method, it's very simple. It's YouTube jobs. And the reason why it's so powerful, unlike like most other job posting sites, is because these in here, we actually get high quality YouTubers of all ranges. What you do is you press jobs up here and you press video editor here. These are like you can see million subscriber channels and also like 22K and stuff. Like it's very high quality in here usually, that you can get some very, very good positions just by using these YouTube jobs here. But it's kind of tough sometimes, because pressing this apply button, you have to make a user, and when you create a user on YouTube jobs, you have to like have a lot of subscribers, like you work with a lot of subscriber channels and millions of views and such. So a quick way to circumvent that is to just do a trial edit for them and send them directly through an outreach. Here's the wrong way that most editors do their outreach. First, they find a potential client. That's fine, right? Then they send a message or their portfolio, and then they wait. Now, if you do it like this, it's going to like take so long to actually get response. Instead, in this first step, I want you to super focus on just finding potential clients. And I don't want you to find 1 or 2, or not even 10. I want you to find 100 of these. And it sounds overwhelming? Well, I promise you it's not, because you just have to make it the only task you do for maybe a day. And if 100 clients sounds like a bit too much in one day, you can just do 50 over 2 days, or maybe 25 across 4. Just focus on building the list first and then go to the second step, okay? So that's what you're going to do. You're going to make a sheet like this with the name, link, contact, and extra notes like I've made here. And then just sit down and then build that list. And remember, at this stage, volume matters more than perfection. You can always say no to a client later. So if you just see a tiny bit of opportunities, you can go ahead and put them on the list. Now, step 2, the approach that actually works. Now we've got 100 leads, okay? How are we going to get the client's attentions, right? Well, we're not going to do it with trial edits like I just said, because sending 100 trial edits to like this entire list will kill your energy and it's not that effective anymore. It's kind of overused. But here's the power thing we do instead. So think of approaching a client like a trust circle. The center is where the client trusts you enough to work with you. And most editors try to jump straight to the middle with a portfolio or a trial edit, but the client has never heard of you before. So they ignore you. Instead, you need to enter the circle step by step. And the way you do that is by first getting their attention, like not being ignored, right? Then you build rapport or trust with them, so you get closer to the circle, like one step at a time. And then you ask if they want your help. Not the first thing, but you build first and then you ask. Now, the way me and my students do this is like we use completely unique outreach methods that like do this, which is just which I say for us because if they get overused, they kind of lose their power. But I'll share one with you right now so you can see exactly how this works for yourself, and then maybe you can get an idea of how you can do it yourself as well. First thing we do is we start by being personal, and you can do that by either like mentioning their name, like a specific moment from one of their recent videos, or maybe like a detail that you research about them. Like for example here, like going on a holiday. Now, you can even include a screenshot if you want to really like grab their attention, and it's really good if you could find a moment where they're like either like doing editing or like maybe like they could need some editing. But that's what gets their attention, all right? Now, next, we need to build their trust, and we do that by offering value. For example, instead of like dropping a trial edit that was like unasked for just in their face, right? You can just ask them, hey, I noticed this specific moment in your video. I've got a quick idea for how to improve it with video editing. Super simple, right? And then you can just ask them, want me to send it over to you? And then if they say yes to that, then you can create the video with them and share it. And because they've now like said yes to you and like they're waiting for the video, they're far more likely to both watch it and respond to you. If you want to take it even further, you record a video of yourself and then you send them to them. It shows you're an actual person and that you're genuine and you're willing to help them. Because if you just send text, oftentimes it's just going to be one of like 100 people that they're going to ignore because it doesn't feel personal. And even if you just do 10 of outreach per day, right? In 10 days, you would have gone through all of those. I haven't seen anyone who does this to like all 100 without getting at least one solid response. So please do it. And then if you don't get a result, you can come back and then tell me and then we can figure something out. But I promise you it will work, okay? When someone responds that they say they're interested, then we move on to step 3. This step is where most editors mess up. Because getting a response isn't enough. You need to like position yourself as valuable and lock in a strong deal, okay? Here's the next goal. You need to move the conversation to either DM or a meeting. Now, if you're already in a DM, that's great, right? But you can either keep it there or upgrade to a meeting. It depends on what you feel more confident in. And if you want like a secret hint, on like meeting calls, that's where you can really create golden opportunities with your clients. But you don't have to, but it can certainly help, especially if you know what you're doing. If you want to do a meeting with them, you can just say, awesome, I'd love to break this down properly with you. When's a good time for a quick call for you? Then once you're on the call, you can do some really crazy stuff to make yourself much more valuable to the client. I have a question for you. Do you feel lucky? I felt lucky when I found a really good client in a community I was in. I felt unlucky when I saw other people doing better than me, even when I believed I was putting the same amount of work in. I felt lucky when someone recommended me and I got a good client. I felt unlucky when that same client stopped making videos shortly after working together. Like it or not, luck will play some part in your journey. And maybe that feels demoralizing. But what if I told you there's a way that you can massively control your luck? As you've seen, this lesson is called How to Constantly Find Good Opportunities and How to Get Chosen. So what are opportunities? The word opportunities makes it sound like it requires a good amount of luck, right? Well, let's see how much it actually requires. This first opportunity puts you ahead of everyone else without barely doing anything yourself. It's basically a shortcut to the middle of the trust circle that I've showed you earlier. Take a look at this Discord message that I sent to a guy over DM. Hey, I saw your post in this community about outsourcing your videos so you could batch future videos. I'm currently an editor for 2 YouTubers in that community already, and I currently have space for a third. If you're interested, we could figure something out together, and you can skip all that annoying Upwork stuff that comes with it. Let me know if you're interested. Then on the same day, he replied, cool, my next batch I'll have you edit a video, and if you're great, we can work. And I just said, yeah, seems like a fun challenge. Now the question is, why was it so easy for me to convince him to try me out? Can you see it? It's right there. It's the fact that we share a community. And I have another example here. This guy was in a community and he wanted to edit an intro and he didn't know how to do it. So I literally just edited the intro and sent it to him. And then I said, hey, let me know if you need any help with the editing. And I got him as a client. So the first opportunity is DM people who need help in communities. And how do you increase your luck with this? How do you find these people? Well, first you join communities where your clients hang out. So that could, for example, be in a school community or Reddit or a Discord, which I really like. And you can, for example, join YouTube creator communities, marketing agency communities, which is really powerful. Then you just use the search features in these communities, like editor or editors or Premiere Pro. And that's a very quick way to find if someone needs help with editing. Another way to massively increase your luck is join paid communities, because when you're in there, there's a way higher trust with you. Also, you can ask owners of these communities if you're allowed to make a post that says you're an editor and that can help. Some communities want this and some don't, so just go ahead and ask. And then just remember to keep checking, you never know when something might pop up. For the second opportunity, you need to know this. Every day, hundreds of people make posts that they need an editor. But you're basically never going to find the good job posts on places like Upwork or Reddit, unless you want to get paid in like pennies. So here's the thing. If a good client, like a big YouTuber or a profitable business, was to actually get an editor, where do you think they will post their job post? On their own social media, of course. That could be places like Twitter or LinkedIn or Instagram or YouTube, specifically on their community wall. For example, this one here. You can pause if you want to read it. So, how do you increase your luck with this? Well, you join the Editing Elite Discord, which hopefully you already have, because I'll be posting good job opportunities I find in the Opportunities tab. As well as if you want to get chosen from these job opportunities, you can simply just use the feedback channels to make your trial video amazing before you actually send it. Let's move on to the last, the overpowered opportunity. This opportunity is called getting recommended or a referral, and it's so overpowered because you get an advantage over everyone else when this happens. Here's why. It costs $0. It requires less than a minute of work. It immediately puts you in the center of the trust circle. You can get insane clients because big clients love to get editors through referrals. And it could grow you exponentially because the client that refers you can refer you. This sounds amazing, right? So how do we get referrals? Well, there's only these two things that you need to do, these two steps to get a referral. First, you need to create goodwill with the client. Now, goodwill happens when what you deliver exceeds what they expect. Sounds simple, right? Here's my favorite ways of creating goodwill. Put some extra effort into the first video you make for a client, because a client will judge you heavily on your first video. So I would spend a little more time on it, and I will also get feedback in a Discord before I send the first video to them. Then you can set better expectations. If you say a video takes 2 days but you deliver it in 3, the client will be disappointed. But if you say it takes 6 days and you do it in 3 days, the client will think you're awesome. So really think about what expectation you set. Then lastly, do the extra. Help them with their thumbnails. Give them ideas and suggestions for videos. Use footage from their social media without having them to find it for you. If you do this, the client will think, damn, he's awesome. Because think about it. Who wants to recommend someone that isn't that great? Alright, that was creating goodwill, the first step. The second step and the last step is super simple. Just ask. Here's the mistake I made. I used to think I could only ask after months of working together with a client. But the truth is, you can ask as soon as you feel they really like your work on a video. So, for example, yo, that video was sick, thanks for delivering so fast. You can just say, glad you like my work. I'm excited to edit more videos for you in the future. Also, I'm currently looking to help even more people with their video editing. Who do you know who might need my help? And you can do this after the first or second video. You don't have to wait. Also, look at how I framed the last question. I don't ask, do you know anybody that needs my help? That's a yes-no question. Instead, I ask, who do you know that might need my help? It's a small little detail. And when you ask your client this, 2 things can happen. Either they say, yeah, I actually know someone who could use your help. Then you get their contact, and then I want you to send this message. The other thing that can happen when you ask this question is, they say, sorry, can't think of any right now, but I will let you know. And then they have you on their mind. Whenever they see someone say, hey, I need an editor, they're gonna think of you. So it's a win-win situation. You should always ask this question whenever you have the opportunity. After 7 years of doing video editing, and for the last 2 doing it full time, I've combined all the most useful and also painful mistakes that I've made over the last years, so you don't have to waste years trying to find these out yourself. Let me show you them. People don't care. Have you ever made a really cool edit and thought, damn, it looks cool, but man, I spent a really, really long time on such a short moment in the video, and then you just feel bad about it when you realize that? Well, I was in that position way too often once, but then something made me realize it doesn't have to be that way. Here's why. So I was once editing for a client, and I then reached a part in the video where my client, he introduced himself and his achievements. Then I realized, that's exactly when I realized, wait, he just said the same thing that he once did in the previous video. So I was like, maybe if I reuse that part I've already edited for that same explanation, it will save me time. So I hesitated with this actually, because what if the client noticed and thought I was being boring? Or what if the comments said that I was lazy for using recycled edits? But I still gave it a shot. So here's what happened. None of his viewers minded at all, and neither did the client. In fact, he liked it, because people started to associate that exact editing with him and that exact introduction with him. He found that when his intros was like similar, it actually made his brand stronger. And that's when I realized, when you spend a long time making a really great edit, you don't have to just use it one time and then it's gone forever. Of course, not everything can just be copy-pasted or should be copy-pasted. That's just lazy. But the thing is here, it doesn't mean you can't recolor it or swap the background or pull animations or elements that you've already built from other projects onto new elements, like you can see here in the picture. It saves you time, and it makes the client actually appreciate you because you're going faster. You basically build this wall with great edits, and you can thank yourself for the infinite extra energy you've just given yourself, and the client will love your speed. So this is something you should take advantage of, not punish yourself over. Now, I hate people who give vague advice like, oh, just sell yourself, right? So here's some actual things that you can do today to achieve this. So first thing, put your actual face in your emails, your portfolio, your personal brand, just like these examples here. And when you make your portfolio, make it about your edits and you. Like it's way more powerful if we can actually see the person behind the edits, right? And here's another example of how you can do it. You can just put it at the end of your outreach email like this. It really, really grabs the attention, and you get to see it's not just like some unknown guy behind the screen. It's someone you can actually work with, and that might even increase your pay in the long run. So when you do follow-ups, make them fun and different. I talked about that before. You have to release the tension. And here's some examples of people who've done it. You can even send a meme with a picture. Just do something that makes it easy to answer. Now, whenever you talk to anyone or like send them a message, do it like you're talking to a good friend. Like, people want to work with people. And if you do like written, please, and I mean this, please avoid ever sounding like ChatGPT. It's like one of the worst things you can do right now, at least. Like, we talk to a good friend, and when you write, make sure it's actually you writing and like you genuinely. It works way better when we see your personality. So please take advantage of this so you get an advantage. But even after realizing that, most editors still get stuck. Why? Well, you are not good enough. Question mark? Okay, so people are always asking me, when am I good enough to start working with clients? And here's the truth I tell them. Even if you only know the basics of editing, even if you don't feel ready yet, you don't need to be a Michelin chef to try and cook a dinner for someone. So don't wait to cook. You can reach out today. You can try and make your trial edit for like potential clients today. You can post your videos, outreach, trials, and ask for feedback today. And you can even apply to job posts. And by just jumping into it, like by doing it like as soon as today or tomorrow, you learn a lot. And you learn some client acquisition skills and editing skills, and you could potentially get a client from this. So it's like just wins all across the board. And you could do this rather than just trying to like learn editing forever. So try, if you've ever been like, oh, should I not? Just jump into it. Like, apply for editing, outreach, client acquisition, all that. Learn these skills. As long as you are willing to help by doing your best, you can get clients from the beginning by just jumping into it. Like, people don't expect like you're like a master seller or anything when you're an editor. But if you just kind of do a little bit, and you just are willing to like push yourself out there, you're gonna get ahead of so many editors. I promise you that. But what if you don't want to work with like cheap clients? What if you want to work with a few clients yet still make great amount of money? Well, if you edit less, you make more money. What do I mean by that? So you've probably seen those fancy edits, flashy transitions, great masking, amazing sound design and all that. And maybe you thought, if I could just learn that, clients would pay me more, right? But there's something that I've seen over and over again here, and that's like someone might spend 2 weeks on crafting like this cinematic masterpiece, and then you get paid like $100 for it. Another editor might be editing for a client that wants a style that like still takes skill, but requires way less effort and time. And this editor for some reason gets paid like $500 for like 1 day of just focused work. So what makes this possible? Well, it's this rule that everyone needs to understand. You are rarely just paid based on how long you spend inside your editing program. Instead, the amount you get paid is mostly based on the problem you solve and the person you solve it for. So, meaning, and this is important like to understand this order, it's far more important who you work with than what you work on than the amount of editing it takes. So in this order specifically. And for example, like let's say someone like it requires you a ton of editing, right? But it's like for this guy whose name's Bob, who has like 69 subscribers and like barely any videos, like of course you're not going to get paid for that, right? Now, if you want the opposite of this, as in like an actual good client that's amazing to work with and pays you well, you can check out this video right here where I show you exactly what type of client that is and where to find them for editors. And it has some like direct examples as well. So go check that out.